Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm gamesplaining on Mars. So if you have watched the first portion of this Gamesplanation, you'll have a feel for what happens in orbit. We are now going to go over what happens on Mars, which is the other side of the board. So I'm going to do these in a slightly different order. I might head up the board rather than down the board, or I might jump around. We'll see how we go. So the first thing is this one here that allows you to release one of your rockets. The reason you would like to do that is there are executive actions. An executive action is I have just released this action. What was there available before were these three. I used a rocket to get the movement, so that one became available. I've now released that one. You're allowed to use an executive action at any time during your turn, before or after doing the main action. The cost of the executive action is just here in diamonds. So up to here is 2 diamonds each, or 2 crystals should I say. Up to here is 3 crystals, and those top ones are 4 crystals. Markings down here are similar to markings on other things, so I won't go through all of them except for this one puts a scientist to work. And I'm just about to jump to the scientists. So the scientists are these areas. You are only allowed to have one of your guys up in the space. You're not allowed to have more than that. If he puts this astronaut up there and takes one of these, what now happens is there's a cost along the bottom of the board. He might grab this, for example. That's what then gets replaced with one of the cards, and you get to look through the deck to see what you want to replace it with. It'd be worth his while to use this one because it's talking about his actual science. It's refilled at the end of the turn, and you can look through those. They don't come out at random. You get to look through and choose what you're going to refill that spot with, and that's a cost of a crystal to take that card, by the way. Let's come to here. This allows you to move this guy, or this guy should I say, 2 spots, and allows you to move this guy 2 spots. So what's going to happen is that will probably go 1, 2 to get to there. You can make him move further by paying a crystal. That would allow him to go to the 3rd spot. That gains him 1 more of that resource, the trees. Put that face down. This guy then needs to move 2 as well, so he might just move 1 to there. He doesn't have to move the full 2. The reason you need to move them around separately, if this guy stops on anywhere that has a crystal or one of those tokens, then he destroys it. If this guy stops or passes over any of those spots, he picks them up. Where this guy is standing, he is now able to build. So building is this action up the top here. Once again, it will cost guys. So let's imagine he had a couple of guys down there. So same red thing as before. If you choose to take this, you'll need to pay a crystal for the guy that's already there. And what that allows you to do is take one of these. The cost of them is below them. He might choose to take one of these. To build that, he can build that here, 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 or here. Because it's at level 2, so he could go to an area of 3 or more. He's definitely going to build that in. So he thinks he might, just for the moment, build that there. But before that building happens, you look at the back of it. If it was, say, this token going down, you'd put that there. And what that does is it puts a crystal onto each spot. It might be better to actually build where he's actually standing. So we get a crystal and a crystal for this guy to then pick up in future turns. If you were to place it there, a crystal would go there and a crystal would go there. Now, because he's built that building, that flips over. There are now 2 there, so he would gain 2 tokens. But because he's already got 2, he can't take any more. As I said before, if this has been built, then he's able to hold a 3rd one. But until that's built, he's stuck with only being able to take the 2, so he doesn't actually get any benefit from building that particular building. He would have done better to build the building that gave him water. But water is down there, so he would have to then build that at least 2 things away from any other building of the same type. Now, because he has built that type of building, he would put his marker onto here. They're in the wrong spot, I do apologize, and that would get moved up 1. Because he's covered that up, he gets 2 points. Now, whenever you are moving from below where the ship is to where the ship is, you also get to action or get to take whatever's at the top. So it's a bonus for anything that's been upgraded with his tiles. So nothing's been upgraded at the moment, so he wouldn't get any points for that. There's a whole bunch of those, so I won't go through what they all mean. But he also gets to choose one of those. So he can either use 2 movement points to move his bot, and you can use crystals to make that longer as well. Gain a mineral, gain a crystal, or gain one of your colonists back from one of the spots. So he might grab that guy back and that'll give him something else to use at a later stage. Then we come to upgrading buildings. Upgrading buildings is just here. If he chooses to upgrade it's a water one, so it's going to be this one just here. It costs 1 mineral. The size must be 1. Further down the stack, the size is 3. In order to do the upgrade, it's got to be in the building zone of one of my bots. So if I would need to actually have the guy there rather than here to do this one. That then gets moved over to show that it is upgraded. Now I have done everything on Mars, so if I wish to catch the rocket back up to orbit, what I will do is each of the advanced buildings on Mars will produce, so that would produce 1 water. Then you remove any of your colonists you've got there, your worker space or living quarters, and then we choose one of the empty spots and get that benefit. So if he chooses this one, he can pay a water or a plant to gain another colonist into his area. With these cards, there are many of them in there. Depends on how many players to what number you put it on. The ones that are up there at the moment is for each of these that are taken, this would remove by 1. 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of them gone, and that would have given a crystal to each person that removed one of the things. Crystals, by the way, go into these spots at the end of the round when the shuttle moves. They all move down into the spot there, so you can only pull in so many. This one is for taking blueprints, so he's taken 1 blueprint, so that should have moved down 1, and we've got a crystal for doing that as well. And this one is for moving tokens up there, so start on 8, he would have moved 1 token up, so that moves down 1 as well. The only other thing to be aware of is that everyone has 3 of these cards. You can, they're kind of personal bonuses. You can gain the stuff on the side once you have achieved what is on the left hand side. Notice you'll need to get that token 2 times to be able to do that. You will only gain 1 of the rewards, you can't claim both of them. And they're obviously talking about various areas of the board that we've already been over. The other way you can use these is you can use them to create a crystal. You are only going to be able to claim 1 of them as a face-up card, so once he's got the second one of these, he could claim to do that, move 2 things forward if he wished, and then use these other ones to get extra crystals for if he needs crystals in the future. This will refill, so the warehouse, if you had extras here, they would go in at the same time, and this would move down with new cards coming in. You move the colony marker up 1 row. So it's only going to happen 3 times throughout the game, but each time that moves, that's when the stuff is refilled. Refill this board, refill there if you've got extras. Okay, I'll leave it there. Please go ahead and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how the game actually plays. If you have any comments, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be gamesplaned, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.